Hello BookTube. This is the second video about the first bookshelf we're covering. We got as far as the Patrick O'Brian, and now I'll begin on some of these folios and work our way into this shelf. The first volume we're going to look at is Admiral Lord Cochran's Memoize of a Fighting Captain. In this folio edition, see the box here, a little bit of glare. See if I can fix that anyway. Sort of subtle coloring there. Some fighting ships. As I said earlier, Lord Cochran was probably the greatest fighting captain in maritime history. Here's a great, quite a dapper looking fellow. This is a 2005 London The Folio Society edition. Memoirs of a Fighting Captain, Admiral Lord Cochran, Admiral of the Red, Rear Admiral of the Fleet, introduced by Brian Vale. Heavily illustrated. The historical images that the Folio Society manages to find for their editions are sometimes just unbelievably good. Let me look at that. So anybody who reads a lot of nautical fiction, Cochran's is the type that a lot of these heroes are based on. He's the person a lot of these heroes are based on. It's a very, very nice edition indeed. And then another nautical story, but from an entirely different era, and one of my favorites, The Riddle of the Sands by Erskine, an Irishman. And again, I've always loved the maps. This was also a movie. I think it was Michael York. Actually, quite a good movie. So this is introduced by Maldwyn Drummond and illustrated by Daniel Whistler. And it's Folio Society, London, 1992. Erskine Childers was actually executed as a Irish patriot. That's quite a story. These are how the chapter headings. See if I can find another one to give you an idea. So a World War I era nautical thriller, basically. This next set of volumes is by Robert Graves, The Greek Myths. It's also a Folio Society. Actually, I like how that looks. I like the orange. Here are the volumes. So volume 1, we'll take a look at here. Again, a really nice map. And some of the artwork, title page. So Robert Graves, The Greek Myths, introduced by Kenneth McLeish. Illustrations by Graham Baker. It's quite a complex work for reading myths. To me, it's always been a source book. It tells variations on the myths. Graves was the fella that wrote I, Claudius, which was a big PBS series starring Sir Derek Jacobi, among others. I always enjoyed it when I was younger. He was also a poet. Wrote a great autobiography from the First World War and told the story of that tragic generation. The other book here I have is, again, a Folio Society, Alexander the Great. Unfortunately, my copy is a little worn. This gold image of Alexander seems to have worn off, as a little bit of this here. This is one I bought used. Again, a great, hopefully you can see this, great map showing the area of Alexander's conquests. Robin Lane Fox. Can be a great writer and historian. I have read one of his that I did not like, and that was about travel in the ancient world. Here's a image here. Yeah. So I've always enjoyed books about Alexander the Great. I've read a few. Now we move on to Edward Gibbons' The History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. These are in 2 boxes. They got a nice historic look to them. So this is volumes 1 through 4. You can see that. And this is 5 through 8. I love these editions. Love the looks of them. I always liked Gibbon. I know he's a little out of date, but as a writer, sort of hard to beat, and at least as a stylist. I always had I love his footnotes. Sometimes they're more interesting than his main prose. I don't know why that is. Here's a map. Yeah. Edward Gibbon, The History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, Volume 1, The Turn of the Tide, edited and with an introduction by Betty Radice, London, the Folio Society, 1983. Here's a pencil drawing of the great man himself. Trajan's column. So, Trajan's column, engraving by Giovanni Battista Piranesi. A lot of his stuff in here, which is apt, showing the ruins. There's some more. So you take this and multiply that by 8 volumes, and you've really got quite a treasure. The next set of folio volumes is Plutarch's Lives. Hold that up there. You get 4 volumes. Here's you get a workout lifting this thing around. Let's see if I get it out here without damaging the box. Here's the end papers. Nothing spectacular there. Nice. Plutarch's Lives, Volume 1, The Rise of Classical Greece, the Dryden translation. Edited by Arthur Hugh Clew. Introduced by Tom Holland. Illustrations by David Rooney. Folio Society, 2010. I like the illustrations in this one. Pretty bold. There's Solana. This is great Alcibiades. So I tend to go in and I'll read a section like this. I think I read I think it was a Modern Library edition years ago, straight through, but I don't do that anymore. I do jump in and I might read a section on a particular character from history, but this has had a huge influence throughout Western civilization, so it's quite a nice set. So that's the end of the first part of the second shelf of the first bookshelf. Thank you, BookTuber.